All right, this is my first video on Substack. Actually, I'm going to upload this to YouTube and it'll be my first video on YouTube. So, hey, bear with me and welcome to this maiden voyage. My name is Aubrey Thorne. I am an astrologer and a former acupuncturist, and I have an obsession with like holistic wellness in all its forms, whether it's whether it's your body, whether it's your spiritual well-being, whether it's your mental well-being. And I take astrology and I use it as an incredible tool to discover all the intricacies of who you are and what you're here to express. And what else do you need to know? Well, that's enough for now. I wrote horoscopes for a couple of years, maybe. I had a newsletter. I wrote horoscopes. I love writing horoscopes. I like taking astrology and making it consumable, digestible, understandable to people that don't speak this symbolic language. It's really, truly the most incredible method way into understanding who we are as human beings, what we've come here to express, what our bodies need, what our mind needs, and like how it all fits together in this ever-changing, evolving way. Thus, evolutionary astrology. So everything that I talk about in as far as the cosmic weather comes from this perspective that no matter how challenging, horrible, horrendous, legit alarming no, the world is getting, or current events are becoming, or even your individual lives are feeling, there is a way through. There is a path through. This too shall pass. And I think my favorite thing about evolutionary astrology is that it will specifically describe your natal chart with its transits, with the transits in mind, will describe exactly, well, not exactly, but many clear responses to what's going on that's challenging in your lives. And people need that. People need hope. And people need hope that's not like made up hope. That's not just sort of a generic pep talk. Like everyone has free will to exercise in the world, and your natal chart describes what that free will looks like. And I think it's important to keep coming back and back and back and back to our natal charts and seeing how it is we're evolving in the context of the greater shit show going on out there, and what opportunities we have, what possibilities might look like in our lives, and how can we be more conscious of the full spectrum of opportunities and possibilities and make amazing choices that change our lives. And if we change our lives, then we change lives of people around us. So I think there's an innate unspoken responsibility that each of us has to know ourselves better. Because if we know ourselves better, then we take care of ourselves better. If we take care of ourselves better, then we take care of our family members better. If we take care of ourselves and our family members better, then we can take care of our communities better, and so on. Like this astrology is just as, if not, well, here I go, more powerful than lots of therapy. Not all therapy, but lots of therapy can be, because not only will it allow us to analyze our lives with some compassion and some holistic context, but it tells us, like, okay, now here are your choices. Here's what it might look like if you get it right, and here's what it might look like if you miss the mark a little bit. And that's very helpful. So, okay, very long precursor, but it's my first video. So, and what you'll find if you stick around, I try to take my time, and sometimes I can't help it. Okay. um, all right. So, as far as the transits go this month, I'm going to describe uh, kind of the biggies, not every sextile and everything going on. While those are important, I don't think it's what you have to keep your eye on. It's not the ball you have to keep your eye on. So, seeing as it's Friday, April 3rd, and I've kind of missed the mark on the full moon, April 1st, which is when a forecast should come out theoretically. I'll just give you the beginning note of the month, which was the full moon in Libra. It was at 12 degrees of Libra, if that means something to you. But it's full moon in Libra. So the month is starting with this theme of relationships, balance, harmony. Okay? That's what Libra needs. Peace, balance, harmony between people, between anything. Libra's about relationships, the relationship between you and me and my electrolytes, the glasses on my face and my face. Like, every relationship is Libra territory. Now, we are entering a very Aries time, which is the opposite sign to Libra. So right away, we're getting this picture that something in relationships has come to a completion, full moon. All right. Something has maxed out and is finished. I'm taking it to mean that relationships have to change. At least our understanding of relationships have to change. Our understanding, wherever Libra is in your chart, whatever part of your life Libra rules, it's where relationships are your classroom. Now, that could be your body, it could be your relationship to your voice, it could be your relationship to the larger, your purpose, your larger mission, your community, your partner in life, your health, your children. Wherever Libra is, that relationship is something about it needs to be re-examined and wrapped up, and we need a new understanding. How is that understanding going to come to us? Well, it's going to come in a very Aries way. So we learn about relationships a lot of the time when we get into conflict in relationships. So, and that's what the rest of this forecast is really going to be about. Like, what are we learning about relationships? What are we learning about conflict? What is the conflict? What is the conflict? See, I'm trying to do this without saying so this is, anyway, just stick with me as I get rolling. Relationships do a fantastic job of holding up the mirror for what we don't agree with, what needs changing, what's causing tension or friction in our life. Relationships propose opportunities on a platter for us to deal with something that might be in opposition to what we want to be served on that platter. Now, it can also serve us connections that are beautiful. So this is not just negative. It can serve us, this full moon in Libra that's beginning the month can also be serving us a new kind of relationship, a new kind of connection, a new kind of rapport with someone or something. So it's positive, and the whole point of evolutionary astrology is to become conscious of these opportunities and offers from the divine intelligence that guides everything. And what? Oh, seriously? This is really okay. We're still recording. My computer is going dead as I'm speaking. Let me see if I can stop that. Hold on. Let me just make sure my screen doesn't go. Hold, please. Your business is very important to us. It would be display. And it would be... All right, I'll just have to remember to... Okay, we're still recording. So that's how we start. We start with this understanding and maybe a little flicks from source or taps on the shoulder from source saying, all right, this is up for rebalancing. Let's do this. So what's up for rebalancing? Well, one thing is today we've got Venus square Pluto, and I would say the power dynamics are up for rebalancing. Venus is Pluto has to do with our power, has to do with the deeper truths of what really is propelling us. On an individual psychological level, Pluto's going to pull up deep truths that we need to face. It's going to bring up psychological reality that we need to examine. It's going to have us going into the basement of ourselves and really confronting some things that we've tried not to deal with for a while. And Venus, being the planet of values, what we hold as meaningful or worthwhile connecting with. It's also the planet that has to do with money, our resources, and beauty. And so when we have Venus square Pluto today, what needs shifting is maybe a power dynamic, or maybe a truth that we now are willing to go look at because we're leading with our values. It's kind of I feel like it's kind of the I'm ready to be honest about this thing, or you know what, I've got to go look at this now. My values have made it completely clear to me that I am ready to be honest about this thing or this person or this situation, this relationship. So that's today. It's starting off the rebalancing between truth and maybe our psychological understanding, or peace and conflict. It's starting to be rebalanced. And part of that process is probably going to be having to look at two things being true at one time, right? It's like when we're getting honest about the reality in our lives, sometimes we have to admit that we're not all right, that also is right. And how are we going to reconcile this? A square between these two planets is saying there's going to be a little bit of tension as we start to reconcile our values with the truth and we get honest. On Easter, just so you know, I'm going to go through these, the bigger transits of the month. And then at the end, I'm going to take like two of them, because there's two sort of huge moments, two or maybe three big moments in this month, where I'm going to tell you where it is in your life according to your rising sign and your sun sign. I like using the rising sign because it will place these events in your natal chart, even if you don't know your natal chart exactly. If you know your rising sign, then you'll be able to kind of peg where these energies are going to act out in your life. If you don't know your rising sign, it's no big deal. You can just use your sun sign, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Cancer, I'm a Scorpio, and use that to guide you. But it might not give you exact areas of life where this is going to play out. It'll likely give you more of a, this is how it'll feel to you, which can also play out in events. Okay, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I'm going to skip ahead to where the feeling. So right off the bat, I think the month has started off pretty fast, right? Like it took me all week to get to this stage of getting the time and space and silence and bandwidth to do a good enough forecast for you. I've seen and talked to a lot of people whose lives are also moving pretty rapidly as the month starts off. That's Aries. Aries moves fast. Okay. We're in, this month is fast. It's speedy. It's fiery. And so while the first week of the month starts off fast, I don't think it's been that unpleasant. I'm not talking about world events. I'm talking about how people are experiencing the energy change of the season. And for the most part, everyone seems to be in agreement, at least around me and who I talk to, clients and things like that, where they're like, oh yeah, something's changed. It's feeling springy. It feels like, oh, change is afoot, which I think feels really good after the sludgy-ish times that we've had starting off the year. So we've got some momentum, we've got some activity, we've got some initiation. Maybe some pilot lights have been lit, right? Like where we needed some fire and some starting. Like the fact that I'm doing this is a miracle because I've wanted to do video for a while. So that gets us right to the core of this Aries energy. It's if we go back to the full moon in Aries, it's like, what relationship needs adjusting? What relationship needs you to rebalance it by involving yourself more in it? Where do you need to bring more energy and show up? That's what Aries does. It shows up. And when we show up, we change the status quo. So that feels really good for the first week. But let's not get carried away with the positivity. No, I'm just kidding. I will tend to get carried away with positivity because I feel that if we're looking for positivity and optimism and things to be grateful for, we'll find them. So I definitely include that end of the spectrum in my readings. But it would be dishonest and negligent for me to overlook the fact that we've got a tough month ahead, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's why I don't sort of put my stake my professional reputation on being a mundane astrologer. But if you go to any astrologer out there on YouTube or Patreon or Instagram or anywhere, everyone is sort of saying the sky is going to fall this month in a lot of different ways. I'd say I'm 50% in that camp. I would say more, but there's going to be 50% of it that's also really good. There's 50% of this month that's activating. But let's talk about the first 50%. It's kind of not the doom and gloom, but we've got to go through something, and we have to go through something. Everyone has to go through something. Now, hopefully what you have to go through isn't as bad as what maybe it's not like worst case scenario, but we got to go through something. And how I know we have to go through something is because Aries asks us to step up and be brave about something. Aries asks us to be courageous. And the only scenarios that demand courage are ones in which we're frightened. And so, or we're shy, or we don't know if we have what it takes, or we're afraid to be independent. But when, courage is on that, universe's platter, we know that we're going to have to step up in some way. And that having to step up energy is really intensifying on Wednesday, April 8th. Now I'm talking from the East Coast time zone in the United States. So the 8th and then the 9th. If you want to star those days in your calendar, I think you'll have some things to reflect on. So on the 8th, this is, I just wrote vibe shift, at the top of my notes. Mars sextile Uranus, and they're both at 29 degrees of their signs. Mars is in Pisces, Uranus is in Taurus. It is leaving Taurus, and I'm really happy about that, actually. But Mars and Taurus combined at this very sensitive degree is it's lots of energy, lots. Like you're like, oh great, I lit the pilot light the first week of the month, and then you're like, oh shit, I started a fire. Like it's the energy, all of a sudden the gas is flowing and the fire is bigger than we remember or we anticipated. So now, again, this could be something totally unexpected and fantastic. Like amazing. Uranus comes out of left field, all right? So on a personal level, this could be something that you have been trying to push up the mountain that just doesn't gain traction or energy, all of a sudden takes off. Like lightning hits it and you're like, what? I did not expect that to happen. And it takes off. Now, so there is, like there's this unexpected, like it's almost like I sort of see like the underdog winning. Like, what? He won the race? He's so tiny and slow. It's the unexpected victory. Okay? That is a possibility. So we have to look for that and expect that. We also shouldn't be described if, in addition to breakthroughs, that we have some impulsive oopsies or some, some things that hurt to happen, hurt emotions, maybe tripping up a stair and, it's a little more than a trip, where you're just like, oh, wow, that little thing turned into, I have to get ankle surgery, something unexpected and reactive, impulsive, damaging. The point is that it's like the energy is forceful and powerful and disruptive and rebellious. So this is most definitely going to impact the way people feel. People might be extra hot. If you're feeling extra inflamed about something, be conscious of letting it out. Don't hold it in because it'll become volcanic and explode at one point. With Mars energy or Aries energy, the call to action is to, number one, give it consciousness, and number two, give it appropriate, safe expression as much as you can. When Mars is super active in people's lives, we'll say something, it'll just fly out of our mouth, or the anger that has been building up over years, has been building. Next week is a day when, if that has been happening, if the anger and resentments have been building without expression, with Uranus there, they might explode. So But with a little consciousness, you can see that happening. You can feel that happening. You could think, oh, this is what she was talking about. Or, you know what? I need to write this out. You know what? I need to take a walk or go for a run before I have this conversation. Uh, but just know. And if people are engaging in with, intention or conflict or frustration with you the same way, it's going on for everybody. So we can have a little compassion that everyone has different kinds of frustrations and anger and upsets that have been building. And next week, it might get a little explosive or implosive. So just know that. And then it's quick, right? But I think it's better if we know these things. The next day, we have Mars moving into Aries. So that Mars loves to be in Aries. It feels very free in Aries. It's its own sign. So it's sort of like we have the warrior who's been training for war his or her own whole life and has cannot wait to go to war and gets to go to war. Okay, so it's very comfortable in that context. It's bold, it's forceful energy, it's very primal energy. That's the thing with this martial energy, is that it's primal and it's impulsive that way. Like it has to come out. We can be very impatient when we've got Mars in Aries energy. It's something is unleashed. Mars wants to be independent. It doesn't want to be told what to do. It has to move. It wants to compete. It wants to win. So this energy is somewhere in your life, and your natal chart shows you where. Okay. Again, it can be really activating and exciting. Like, I can't wait for this. Like, I am loving this Aries season because I've wanted to be courageous and put myself out there for a long, long time. And I've just felt a little like, I don't know if I can do it, or I don't have enough energy, or it's not the right time. I'm totally overloaded with all the stuff I have to do. Mars energy is something that really benefits me and my natal chart. Like, I need this fire because I'm so watery, and I have a lot of ideas. And sometimes it, like the can just be kind of like whoa, all over the place. But this is like a jolt of energy that I'm excited about. Um, and there it is. That's Mars in Aries. I'm excited about it, and you can be too. So we can use this energy wisely. We can channel it into things that have needed this influx for a long time. But this next week is when the Aries part of your chart tends to be hammered. It just is. And then buckle your seatbelts, because the following week, the 11th through the 19th, let me see. I'm going to skip some of this because it's just too much, but I'll give you the this is my notes. It's just nuts. And my notes don't usually look this busy, but basically, we've got, well, on Monday the 13th, I wrote it's like a bubble machine. So recently, the bubbles in our lives have been bursting. Okay, they've been dissolving. Some of the bubble making fluid has been drying up, and we've needed to replenish that bubble fluid so that we can blow bigger bubbles or more beautiful bubbles. Or the fluid has become a little stale. Like, we keep dipping and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I thought this worked and it doesn't. That's sort of a very simplistic way to understand this, like, Saturn Neptune effect in our lives. And we realized that we need different containers to hold the bubble fluid. We actually want to be blowing bubbles in like different directions. And we don't want to be known as the kind of people who only blow these certain kind of bubbles. And so, um, but it might take some courage to blow the kind of bubbles that we want to blow. And we got to start with changing the container that the fluid has like dried up in, because it turns out the container had cracks. Is this a good metaphor? I don't know. And something is coming along and like cracking the container, and oh my goodness, it stopped again. I don't know if I'm doing 3 videos or just one. Anyway, there might be some confusion, some conflict on Monday, some lack of clarity with Mars conjunct Neptune in Aries. We've had this Neptune, maybe I'll do some more on the Neptune Saturn thing that's been going on for a while. But Monday could bring like this rush of inspiration that we're like, oh, that's what I want to do. But we have got to muster a lot more faith than we maybe have in ourselves, or maybe we get a lot more faith in ourselves and our vision. And we can apply our courage and our boldness to this vision. But we're like piercing a fantasy to the extent where we can create from a new dream with new faith that's super energized by this Mars presence. Then on the 14th, on Tuesday, we have Mercury sextile Uranus, again at 29 degrees, each of them. So I wouldn't normally probably bring this in, just because, unless I was doing like a daily horoscope, but we've got lots of ideas, like mental sparks galore, breakthroughs that open your mind. Could be some miscommunication too. Could be some like exaggerations in communication. Mercury is communication. Uranus is breakthroughs. They and unexpected events, and they're coming together where your regular, established. What did I write here? I can't read it. I don't know. Whatever has been regularly established as far as how you think and how you communicate, I think that's going to completely like, oh my God, on a Tuesday. So let yourself be surprised and ask yourself if there are perspectives that need updating in your lives. Because the more we're looking for unexpected insights and allowing new perspectives in, fresh ideas, I think the more we'll be receptive to them. You might land on some form of your particular genius that day too. And when I say day in astrology, you got to allow some time, because it's not like it's like a clock ticks and it's like midnight. Astrology transits are like dimmer switches. They kind of come and go, but we take them with us after they happen. So sometimes it's like clockwork. Other times, you might have the fresh insights and inspiration on Monday because Mercury is getting really close to Uranus. So I hope that makes sense. Can't really ask you because this is a one-way conversation. Again, Wednesday, Mercury moves into Aries. Okay. More planets moving into Aries by Friday. We have 6 planets in Aries, which is hot, active. So Mercury moves into Aries. That means bold ideas, courageous ideas, very direct communication. No more beating around the bush. Your thinking will likely be very quick. You could also be very impulsive. So just watch that and have compassion for yourself if that's the case. Also, Mercury has an instinct quality to it. I would say trust your instincts. And if you need to confront someone or be confrontational in a communication, this day has that written all over it. Again, just bring some consciousness to it and just don't be like, um, projectile vomiting at someone all your fierce pent up frustrations. But don't be surprised if it comes at you too. So, again, we can apply some compassion and understanding, knowing that some people can't help themselves sometimes. And that applies to all of us. It really does. But the more you know, the better you can try. So, let's talk about Friday the 17th, which is a new moon in Aries, 27 degrees if you want to look it up. So look within about like 5 degrees. I would say like a few degrees on either side for this new moon. But this new moon in Aries, also okay, well, the new moon means we have the sun and the moon in the same sign at the same. Let me turn this off. Forgot to do the do not disturb. So 6 planets in Aries on a new moon in Aries. We've got the sun, the moon, Mercury, Mars, Neptune, and Saturn all in Aries. So we basically, this is the biggest, this is the, well, I would say this is the one of the 2 biggest days of the month. It's explosive, it's powerful, it's explosive, it's fast, fast, fast. There is, we do have Saturn there. So there is some structure. So it might be fast, 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 hitting a brick wall of reality. But it is, this new moon is, because it's in Aries, is ushering in a brand new cycle. All new moons usher in newness, new beginnings. This new moon in Aries, it is a big fresh start. It's a big new beginning. It's a big activation, a big initiation, because there's so much other planetary energy along with it. So it would be, well, you get it. So there's lots of instinct, lots of courage, lots of energy, lots of boldness, lots of enthusiasm, right? There, and spontaneity. It's also really good if you need it in the part of your chart, part of your life that is ruled by Aries. Wherever you need some assertiveness, it's probably in the Aries part of your chart. You're getting it. Just caution about being overly assertive, right? We sort of have to, this is a consciousness game. So you can win something. You can get in the game and win something. You can compete. We'll see lots of people misusing their power, misusing their energy in the context of a competition. It's kind of the winning at all costs kind of vibe. So I don't know. It's enormous. Let me take a sip. Okay. Now, the next day, actually the 18th and the 19th. So just star 17, 18, 19 of April on your calendars, just so you can do extra meditation, extra bathing calmly, build in a massage, drive carefully, express love, get excited about your life and what is yours to do and what you can do. And just know you don't have to do it all in 36 hours or right now or all at once. You don't have to say all the things all at once. But I think the force and just this primal energy at such scale is going to be a little stressful for a lot of people. So just do what you do to mitigate stress in your life to regulate your own nervous system. Um, and ask yourself. So there's some evolutionary questions that I would ask. What's worth defending? Like, what's yours to defend and what's worth defending? Because not everything needs like an aggressive red line in the sand. Um, Remember, we started off the month with a full moon in Libra. That's understanding the art of compromise, understanding that we have to have relationships with the world and people in it and things in it. We don't need to just go me, all out, offense or defense at all times. But this particular weekend might feel like the stakes are suddenly a lot higher in our individual lives. I think the news is probably going to be bonkers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the choices that we can each proactively take to channel this fire. So start thinking now, like, where do I need to be courageous? You're going to have some extra juice to pull from, some fuel. So what's worth defending? What's real? What's real? Are you defending an illusion or a fantasy, or are you advocating, like fiercely advocating for a dream? Because there's a difference, right? Um, or what's not real anymore? Like what has flamed out and doesn't need to be resuscitated? Like we don't have to, not every single part of our life needs to stay active, needs to stay like propped up with our energy. We can let some things fall away as things have to, especially this, like, new moons or rebirth. Some things have to go, and then other things need to be supported and fed and encouraged in order for them to thrive and grow. This Aries energy is fantastic for, um, you know, starting things. What's difficult in your life and could use your energy up against the challenge? This is an intensification with all of these planets. Um, where do you need to be more patient and realistic? And what did I write here? Oh, and what's the frustration telling you? We're all frustrated somewhere in something in our life. Like, what do we need to do about that? What is it really telling us? There's tension between us and something in our lives. This weekend with the new moon in Aries, the 6 planets in Aries, is asking us to consciously face something with a whole lot of courage. And it might be a first for some of us. And then Sunday, we've got Mars conjunct Saturn in Aries. I've heard a lot of astrologers talk about this one, or I'm not sure which ones. I'm chronically learning, but I heard someone say that Mars conjunct Saturn, which makes sense, like is I think they were talking from a historical perspective, their mundane perspective, that historically in world events, this has been pretty intense and warlike, et cetera, et cetera. But as an evolutionary astrologer, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, Mars plus Saturn brings us into a state of intense focus. So, what needs your intense focus? Not just your focus, but your intense focus, your intensity. Like where we've got a lot of energy to apply to some specific area of your life. Like it's discipline plus action, it's action plus motivation, it's responsibility plus motivation, right? Like, where do you need to be responsible and fiercely responsible right now? Like, something is at stake. And in order to point this out to us, something might tear apart, right? So, again, it could be a relationship, it could be a breaking up or a tearing away of something that maybe feels pretty difficult, hurts a lot, but it's for our own greater good. Or we have to learn courage in this area. We have to learn what patient healing might look like in the aftermath. It does not feel great to me, but it can feel it could be powerful in some area of your life. You're putting something forward, and a lot of people need to do that, especially in business, especially in conversations and relations that need the status quo disrupted. I think that could do it. Another evolutionary style question I was asking it myself is like, can you act assertively and courageously without becoming a total control freak? Saturn is control. Mars is assertive. That's why I think the news is going to be a little nuts, because war and control are, themes that we're seeing out there. But in order to win at something, do you have to have total domination and destruction of what you're up against? Or can you be assertive and responsible and understand what's yours to control and what's not? It's an ambitious day. Holy moly. It's an ambitious day where the ambition that we're channeling can come up against a certain reality. Now, could that be an unbelievable victory? Absolutely. Can it be an extra charged welcome reality? 100%. But just know that if it does come with some pressure and friction and tension, and that's saying it lightly. Okay. So I sort of feel like we just kind of have to make it to the 20th. But then the following week, we're going to be dealing with more sort of more echoes of it. It's not as much of the impact of it. It's more that echo. What are they called? Aftershocks. The aftershocks of it. What I like, I was listening to the astrology podcast, and Chris Brennan said something about that whatever makes it through, whatever kind of survives the volatility and the pressures of this month. I might be butchering this, but he did say that, he had this question with the Saturn and Neptune conjunction that we had earlier this year. The question is like, what will last? Well, what will last from what's being dismantled, what's being dreamed, what's breaking down, what's being rebuilt? What makes it through this month will last for a long time. Because Saturn is about longevity, and it is about things that last. And a lot of new things are being built. And some of this Mars energy is coming to do the last bits of demo before we rebuild. And some of the Mars energy is coming after some demolition has occurred in your life, helping you rebuild with some energy where you may have felt exhausted, like, I just can't anymore. Well, I think you can this month. Mercury is coming along and conjuncting Mars on the 20th, and it will just hold a microphone to whatever conflict is unfolding, what inflammation is happening in your life. I do a lot with medical astrology, and I will say that I have an itch in a weird place. I will say that, or I'll say again, that please watch your stress levels and the sort of general sense of inflammation that you have going on in your body, in your mind, in your sort of passionate, heart-centered self, that we've got to be able to cool ourselves off on a regular basis. It's kind of like, things just can't stay heated, 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 even if it's positive heat and forward momentum. Just cool down. Like, I ordered a cold plunge and I'm so excited because it's going to be here to help me with like physical inflammation, because I'm getting really fired up about my physical health and I'm exercising more. And so recovery is big, a big topic on my mind. So just know that there's going to be a lot of amplification of this hot, fired up energy. And so just, that applies to our thoughts, our body, etc. That week, there might be some new connections. That we've got Venus conjunct Uranus, and then Venus moving into Gemini just before Uranus does. And so Venus, I think, might be, offering us a picture or an example in our lives of what's possible that's beautiful post all of this transition, change, heat. We might make there, I think many people will experience, wherever Venus is in your natal chart, might experience some really positive, welcome, warm, loving, heart-centered connection. Okay. And I would imagine, given all the symbolism, that a lot of that connection will be open to it because we will have been leading with so much kind of yes, self, courage, boldness, intensity, and it'll be magnetic in some part of our lives. So that's a lovely thing. Now, I guess the way the month ends is just big, big, big. I'm going to end it with the Uranus moving into Gemini, which, uh, praise the Lord, is all I have to say. It'll be Uranus takes about 7.5 years to move through each sign. So it's been moving through Taurus for 7.5 years. It's not been all bad. It has definitely, though, broken up a lot of the stability each one of us has relied on. So Taurus is stability, um, simple understanding, simple structures, finances, the natural world, our natural cycles. Uranus comes and breaks things up and says, uh, uh, actually, it's like everything's stable, and it comes along and says, actually, no. And that's when the earth gets really dry and Uranus says, oh my gosh, we're going to need an earthquake. It's getting too dry and crusty, and it's getting like concrete. So earthquake. And that's been destabilizing for all of us in some areas. Areas, evolutionary astrology, that have needed breaking up, that we wouldn't have broken up or shifted or changed or gotten ourselves out of if we hadn't been forced to by unexpected circumstances. So Uranus will help us by creating unexpected changing circumstances kind of out of the blue, right? We don't see it coming. It's like, I fell and tore my 3 ligaments in my knee a few years ago, which did not expect. And it was kind of shocking. And it turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me, for multiple reasons. It gave me a different relationship to my body than I'd ever had. It allowed me to take it had forced me to take like an online class that anyway, it tuned me into my energetic self. Like, I took an online Kundalini training that was incredible, and it opened up the spiritual part of my life in a way that, not the Kundalini, the whole sort of period of time has been, had unexpected sort of things that came at me that I couldn't have planned or expected or paced myself towards. So it can be really exciting, I guess is what I want to say. Uranus can be very exciting. But in Taurus, I feel like maybe it hasn't been totally exciting for people. Now, when it moves into Gemini, I think it could be a little more than exciting for a lot of people. We're going to be like bursting with ideas, very mentally active, wherever the Gemini part of your chart is, your life. Um, Gemini is ideas and communication and curiosity and an open mind and um, the transactional part of our life, how we speak, how we listen, how we learn, how we teach. We relate. It's very childlike and busy and like can be very distracted and um, but it's I think that by the end of the month, there are going to be a lot of people with a lot of great ideas, a lot of maybe not great ideas, but just a lot of ideas. It's innovation in that. If we think technology has been moving at lightning speed lately, wait until Uranus moves into Gemini. It's like we're going to have flying desk chairs, to take us to work. I mean, who knows? Um, it's radical change, but it's also the planet. So here's evolutionary astrology. Uranus is the part of our selves that needs to be unapologetically, radically ourselves, period. It's the part of us that is constantly attempting to individuate and become our true selves, throwing off conditioning, throwing off expectations, forgetting about approval, and saying, you know what, this is me. I got to be me. And when it's in Gemini, I think we're going to have a better idea how to do that individually, which is kind of exciting. I guess the nutshell version of this is expect the Gemini parts of your life, which is in your natal chart, to change. Just expect it. Expect it to change in unexpected ways. Let me see. It's also Uranus is very future thinking. So it will bring up issues around individual freedoms, ideas about how to experience that in your daily life. You're going to get liberated from something. That sounds pretty damn good to me, right? And this energy of breakthrough, right? It's breakthrough ideas of like oh my God, how did I not see that before? I mean, who doesn't want that, right? Now, it could come with some unexpectedly challenging circumstances, but sometimes with these like difficult constraints, that's when we're forced to be creative and innovate. Most people, no, I haven't heard an astrologer who hasn't said this. This is going to be a completely new phase in world history starting up that we're in the midst of. It will also be a completely new phase in each of our lives because the world is made up of people. So, I honestly, I'll take it. I'll take it. I could, revolution. I'm not afraid of revolutionary actions and ideas in my life. And I love the idea of shaking things up and starting things fresh or seeing things fresh and differently. So that's coming. And then I guess I'll do this again on May 1st when we have the full moon in Scorpio. And I guess we'll talk about what April wrought. Now, I want to go through where this will be happening in your chart. So I'm gonna give you just the nutshell version of Okay, so I will give you this version. Uh, where first of all, let's look at. I don't want this to stop recording. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I don't. Um, okay, so first let's look at this Aries pileup. Okay, I'm going to go through this. So just get a pen. If your rising sign is Aries, the pileup is in your first house. If your rising sign, meaning, and that has to do with your body, okay? Your sense of self, your sense of agency and independence, and I am, right? If you've been compromising too much and not claiming your right to fill in the blank, live a life in the way that you want, you're going to be able, if you're Aries rising or Aries sun, if you don't know your rising sign, then you're going to be fired up. This is like I am woman, hear me roar kind of energy. It's the courage to not be afraid to show up and claim yourself. If you're Taurus rising or Taurus sun, this is going to be in your 12th house. So I would expect Taurus rising or Taurus sun to be having kind of a spiritual awakening. It would be, I picture it being almost like, oh my gosh, I am not this body. This has I am not in this body. I am not this body. Wait, I'm not this mind. It is like this new uh psychedelic awareness of who you are. um, Spiritual experience. Maybe you need to assertively retreat and be alone to have this experience. So don't be afraid to courageously and boldly claim your right for silence, to shut the door, to not be social. That's a key piece, and that might be hard for a lot of you. It's hard to say no to people, but Aries energy says no, and then it says yes to what it wants to say yes to, but it's defends its right, or it defends something, and it says this is where I'm drawing a line right now. And people tend to not like it. People can create conflict to tell people no. If you're Gemini rising or Gemini sun, this is happening in your community life, your friends, your allies, your goals that you set for yourself, your long-term goals. I want to make sure I was recording. Yeah, it is. So there might be some fresh starts, some activations, some initiating experiences that have to do with setting new goals and making sure you're surrounded with the people who can support you in those goals. So new ideas, new like a new claiming or a new presence in your community or among your friends. If you're Cancer rising or Cancer sun, this is activating your 10th house of mission, purpose, calling, how you show up in the world, and the role that you play. So this is new, bold, fresh, courageous energy in your career, purpose, calling. That's pretty obvious. Great entrepreneurial energy, great leadership energy. Just be mindful of overstepping. That's all. Don't be afraid, because if you do, there's always apologies and flowers and listening. If you are Leo rising or Leo sun, this is happening in your house of like philosophy and travel and how you stretch your understanding of life and how the experiences you have. So it could be anything from, I find the 9th house to be a little bit mushy. It's like so many different things. You might decide to initiate a new, like, now I've messed up my hair. Okay. You might decide to take a bold step and study something, like get into a school, apply to a school, Decide you're going to fill in the blanks. Learn something courageous, go somewhere boldly, like something that takes a lot of oomph. Where it's reminding me, like my husband and I had a dream one year of our life that we were both going to stop everything we were doing, and we were going to both enroll in Harvard Divinity School. And we did not, obviously. Well, you don't know that, but we did not. But it was a great vision. And had we acted on that vision kind of spontaneously and impulsively, that would have been a very Aries in the ninth house um, kind of leap. It's an impulsive leap. So someone suddenly asks you to hop on a boat and, go around the world. Actually, I know someone who's doing that. I wonder if she's Leo rising. Or someone asks you to go travel to a far-flung place that you've never been, and you realize you need to do this. And it takes some courage though. So there's that. If you have Virgo rising or Virgo sun, this is impacting your eighth house. Now, the eighth house is about intimacy. It's how we really bond with another person. It's sort of beyond sex, though that's part of it, but it's about how we really commit to another person, that sort of unspoken mystery that bonds two people together. It's a little bit beyond words. There's a magnetic me and you and me, we merge kind of energy. And with Aries there, it takes some courage um, to look into the other person's eyes and go there. So the eighth house is going there. It also has to do with the occult. It also has to do with our deep psychological life. So if you're in therapy or you feel like you need to go to therapy, you might just dive in and go where you've really been resisting going. And it's necessary, and it takes courage to look at maybe something you haven't been able to look at until now. It also, eighth house has to do with the way we merge with people on a business level. It's contracts. So Aries energy in the eighth house at this scale could be deciding to marry someone, deciding to divorce someone, deciding to let your company break up, or to fighting for the rights in some kind of merged financial contractual relationship. It takes courage. It's going to ask you to give this relationship a lot of energy. This is getting really long. I hope it's interesting. Okay. If you have Libra rising, this Aries energy is activating your relationship house, your house of partnerships, the part of your life where you're married to someone, partnered to someone, where you have to engage in some kind of me versus you, or me and you. I would expect there to be conflict in your relationships of some kind of inflamed situation. That said, it's okay. Like, you are built for relationships, and you can probably learn a lot from what comes up. Please know that whoever you're relating to is likely having an out of control inflammatory experience themselves, in their mind, maybe in their bodies. Maybe they're just everyone, we have to be compassionate of that. Everyone is all heated up all at the same time. So have it out. Try not to say things you regret. I think there's a lot of breakthrough, like beautiful breakthrough energy on the other side, because whatever comes up is taking courage of both people. And when this relationship energies, or maybe you start a new relationship with somebody, maybe you jump in with both feet and you decide to merge with somebody. You decide to again, it can be deciding to marry them, but it would be more like saying yes to the proposal as opposed to signing the marriage contract. And so that could be really activating and creative and fun. So there's that. Okay. And you know what? If in the comments, if I inadvertently get too negative or too repetitive, just ask me clarifying questions in the comments and I'll answer them. Um, or even better, join the paid version and we can go over your chart one-on-one. Well, in a group, but it's very small at this point. So I give a lot of one-on-one attention. Bring your chart and we'll jam on it for as long as I have. Okay. Where was I? Oh, Scorpio. If you have Scorpio rising or Scorpio sun, this Aries energy is piled up in your 6th house. Now, your 6th house, okay, first off, I want to tell everyone with Scorpio rising and Scorpio sun, take care of yourselves. You have got to find a way to cool your system down. It's really important. Practice breathing, um, baths, cooling foods, massages, self-care, 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 because all that Aries, just from a medical astrology point of view, that's a lot of inflammation in the house, which seems to rule the body a lot. So, in our health. So, if you do not ignore your body, right, the inflammation will be telling you something that needs to be tended to. Drink tons of water, not tons, but enough. It's so funny. As I'm doing this, my face is getting red, talking about the all this inflammation in Mars. I'm getting hot and I'm like sweating. It's funny. Um, the other thing is you might be initiating a new daily project, okay, or a new health, like a new workout kind of. It's Aries is very physical. Okay. It's very physical. It asks us to channel that heat and energy through our body. So you might start running, you might start walking, you might start going to the gym, you might start really tending to your diet. It's fresh starts on a daily basis. So I think that by the end of the month, by next month at this time, I bet you Scorpio risings and Scorpio suns will have initiated a new daily practice of some kind. You'll be excited about, again, just be mindful that some of it, you might burn out from a little bit of it, but if you pace yourselves and understand the energy, this influx of energy isn't like a permanent thing, then you'll be okay if it all doesn't stick. Because if it stuck, this amount of enthusiasm and activation stuck around for too long, you'd be exhausted. Okay. It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I hope it's okay. Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius sun, this Aries pileup is happening in your house of creativity, children, pleasure, joy. You're going to love this. Don't overdo it. So the 5th house is about it's about all those things that I just named. It's heart. It's a heart-centered house. It's childlike. It wants to play. You might start some new creative projects, art projects. You might get pregnant. You might sort of rediscover playing with your children or your own childlike nature that you haven't given yourself time to engage with in a long time. There might be, anyway, what else do I want to say about that? Yeah. I mean, that's it, really. It's childlike and carefree and it's spontaneous and it's self-expressive. You might just start doing, I do think it's a lot about creativity and even in business. I hear more people, especially like businessmen, no, or business women, but not as much, but like businessmen say like, oh, I'm not creative at all. And I'm just like, stop that. Just stop. Every single human being is super creative. I don't care if you're an accountant or I don't know, like a pickleball coach. It doesn't matter. Everyone's creative. So just stop it. Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius sun, you're going to be really creative. And just don't drink too much. That's what I have to say to you. Don't drink too much. That's not your cooling practice. A little bit, enjoy, dance around the fire, but then drink your electrolytes. And maybe the next day, don't drink so much. Okay. Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun. This is happening at in your fourth house of home. It's also your inner psychological foundation. So I think there could be some family drama starting. You could do, it could be very literal. You could be doing home renovations, moving homes, have very heated interactions with your family. It's and or it could just be you really seeing your life in a new way. It's like your psychological foundation has to change, and this Aries energy is really helping you be a little bit more courageous about, like, I think reframing how you connect with where you came from, and maybe seeing yourself as having a real fresh start as far as the rest of your family lineage goes as it evolves out of you. But yeah, family is going to be very active. And yeah, like maybe your parents, might need you a lot more, but energy at home. And then two more. If you're Aquarius rising or Aquarius sun, this Aries pileup is happening in your third house. You all will be talking, okay? You'll be communicating and expressing things people have not heard from you before, okay? This Aries, it's like giving you the courage and the fierceness and the boldness to say what needs to be said. Now, you could easily say some things you wish you could take back, but that's okay, because Aries, they are saying, like, no, have courage, say, draw the red lines, and then speak to defend it, write to defend it, say, start the book, start the podcast, start the YouTube channel, write the blog, write the book, write the manifesto, hopefully not a crazy one, but with your Aquarian nature, it might be a little unexpected or strange to some people, but you guys have communication activated. So go with it. It's a new chapter of where you're not holding back anymore, I don't think. And Pisces, my brothers and sisters, Pisces rising or Pisces sun, this is really getting into your resources, your money, your values. What do you believe in? Do you have enough? What do you need? And if you don't have what you need, and if you don't have enough, then start something so you have enough. This is entrepreneurial energy, very much. It's activating something that makes you money. It's new ideas about how to gather more resources, how to have what is enough for you. And it's very entrepreneurial. And it takes courage. It takes courage to say that I need more. It's also kind of a bold, independent decision to prove yourself to yourself that I have what it takes. It takes courage to do that and to break out of the, I don't know. Remember how I started? So I'm definitely feeling this, and yeah. It takes some energy where I need some energy. So Pisces rising or Pisces sun. So that's sort of the major Aries pileup. When Uranus moves into Gemini, I'll just tell you, real quick, let me just move this, what house that will be in for you. Okay, so I should probably change this to hold please. I'm almost done. I'm going to wrap it up in like 2 seconds, but I want you to have, oh, here. Sorry, I didn't know. What? I don't need to expand my, okay. So let me go through, hold, what, 1 second. Let me just get this. Okay, so for, okay, Aries and Aries rising, Uranus moving into the planet of like new ideas, big innovative ideas, is in your 3rd house. Okay, so the planet of idea, if you're Aries rising or Aries sun, the planet of breakthrough, innovative ideas is in your house of ideas. So you all will likely have something to say and express that surprises you, surprises other people. It's a big, it also, something might come along and blow your mind, kind of like, what? I did not expect that. The 3rd house has to do with our perceptions, and your perceptions need updating. All of our perceptions need updating, but Aries, you're getting a very bigly updated set of perceptions. And then you'll have something different to say because of that. Taurus rising or Taurus sun, Uranus is impacting your house of resources, what you value, how you prove yourself to yourself. And you might have a new idea about how to make money, what you're made of. Really unexpectedly, some unexpected opportunities or possibilities that are demanding you step up in a completely unexpected new way. Again, you might sort of be really surprised perceptually about, it's kind of like me, yes, you. But it comes out of left field and you probably couldn't plan for it. And it might feel a little uncomfortable, Taurus, because you like stability in this house. You like reliability and stability. So, but you need a shakeup in your, how you relate to money, and maybe your set of values need updating. Now we get to Gemini. This is happening, Gemini rising, Gemini sun. This is happening in your 1st house. So you all write down your thinking, write down your thoughts. Stuff is going to come out of your mouth that you can't even believe. You're going to hear stuff that you can't even believe. This is innovative and very distractible. Fast, 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 busy, busy, busy. So again, it's like a different airier form of what we're talking about. That the Aries is the fire, Gemini is air. So it's, there's real genius in Uranus and Gemini, wherever it is. But for Gemini, you're going to you're going to be learning evolutionary idea. You're going to be learning how to deal with all of this intellectual content and the busy mind. A lot of you will probably learn to deal with the thing called overthinking, and that's a good thing, because when we can identify, oh, that's thinking, it's not reality, we're calmer. So this is a little much to do in this kind of reading, but this would be very valuable in a natal reading. But I'm just going to finish. Cancer rising or Cancer sun, this is happening in your house of spiritual connection, retreat, solitude. Meditate. I just say meditate. Just close your eyes and see what pops in. I think you'll be very surprised. I think there's, if I was one of those people, it'd be like, there could be downloads from, it's like that. Yeah, but it's not improbable, right? It's things come out of the blue into your perception. So, and for you, a lot of that has to do with your spiritual connectedness. Yeah. Okay. Then we have Leo rising or Leo sun. This is happening in your community, your friends, your allies, your long-term goals. I think there's going to be some genius maybe that you unleash in the community, Leo. There's going to be a role that you play that's innovator, and you're lending your brilliance to the group of some kind. And maybe your goals kind of, you see your unfolding ambition or goals or the way that you serve in the community. You see it in a new way. It's like, oh, and then that could start from the community eliciting this from you. So there's a new kind of idea person, I think, that you play in the community. And it's a real opportunity to step into your self-expression in a new way. Then we have Virgo rising and Virgo sun. This is happening in your Uranus and Gemini is moving into your 10th house of career, mission, purpose. So your genius is essentially on display, sort of like Leo rising and Leo sun. But this is more like people who you don't even know might recognize your brilliance. Don't be shy. Express yourself. Let your freak flag fly in public. This is your individuality. And this is a word I should be using with all the signs. Your individuality is being encouraged to come out and express itself, Gemini, in your career, in public, in your mission, in your calling. So I think all of you Virgo risings and Virgo suns are going to have sudden flashes of genius about what you want to do in work as far as your purpose goes, but brilliant ideas. Trust them. Not all of them are going to be brilliant, of course, but something is being unleashed out there to be recognized. Halfway through, isn't this exciting? I mean, halfway through the signs, then I'm going to wrap this up. This is way too long, but I hope it's good. Libra rising or Libra sun. Uranus and Gemini will be in your 9th house, your 9th house of broader experiences, leaping into a wider vision, really understanding the meaning of your life in a bigger way, a deeper way. Maybe a lot of you are going to start to teach something or learn something that's totally out of left field that you never expected in a million years you'd be going down this path of learning or teaching other people. You might also take trips that unexpectedly expand some part of your individual genius that is ready to be expressed. I think I could do a better job in a natal chart with more information with that one. This is very general. I hope you hear that. Scorpio rising or Scorpio sun. This is Uranus and Gemini is going to be in your 8th house. Your 8th house of everything that's difficult to talk about. Also intimacy and mergers and closeness and this like bonded trust that we establish with other people. So I wonder if you Scorpio suns and Scorpio rising will have experiences with other people that are profound and that activate a new layer of authentic expression in you that you didn't even realize was there because nothing had asked for it yet. Something is going to ask for you to be unabashedly yourself and truly radically real. And it will be brilliant. And you have something to offer in this relationship, whatever this merger or intimate connection is. with somebody else. You also might decide to go into um, like therapy and admit some things that shock you. And then there's this freedom and liberation. That's another word I should be using more. That Uranus is, wherever Uranus is visiting in our chart, we are being offered the chance to liberate ourselves from some kind of stale conditioning or cloaked self that is just determined to not be hidden anymore. And then Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius sun. This is happening. Wait, I skipped one. Sorry. Let me go back. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. This is a Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius sun. Uranus is moving through your seventh house of relationships, of partnerships, of best friends. It's anyone we walk one-on-one with, like very equal ground. Um, it's making unexpected connections with people. Like, oh my gosh, I like, what's the saying? Brilliant minds think alike or something, whatever the saying is. Now I'm getting like tired. But I think unexpected connections for sure for a Sagittarius rising and Sagittarius sun, and opportunities to use your your intelligence and your genius in a one-on-one situation. Um, and then maybe some, shocks to the relational system that force you to think in new ways that are necessary to think. And the end result will be liberating. Even if at first it's a little shocking. Then we have Capricorn rising or Capricorn sun, and Uranus is moving through your sixth house. So very interesting for Capricorn rising or Capricorn sun, because Capricorn loves stability and tradition and reliability and the long game. But Uranus in Gemini moves fast. And in your sixth house, it's moving fast on a daily basis. So if you've been craving change, originality, a shift in your daily experience of life, you're getting it. And I think you're going to have a chance to show up in your more authentic brilliance, and to lend your originality to your job, or to the way you take care of yourself, or just the way you go about your day is the way you go about your day. And that's it. No one can criticize it. Or if they do, you don't care. You don't need people's approval. But there's a freedom on the day to day, which is, I think, really nice for Capricorn. Might not like it at first, but also might be really exciting. So then we have Aquarius rising or Aquarius sun. This is Uranus is going through your fifth house of self-expression and pleasure and joy and children. And I mean, Aquarius sun and Aquarius rising, not only did you have all that Aries energy in your expression, like this activating your sort of what you have to say in the world and how you hear what people have to say. But you have the planet of individuality and freedom and genius and originality in the part of your life that has to do with creativity and heartfelt self-expression. So you all are going to be creating in the world. And yeah, that's it. You're going to be creating stuff in the world. Very creative. If you've been stuck, holy moly, you're getting unstuck. And then Pisces rising or Pisces sun, Uranus in Gemini is going through your fourth house of home. So this, I almost want to say it's very literal. Lots of Pisces suns, Pisces rising, changing home circumstances. Uranus tends to be fairly literal, like half the time. There's always the evolutionary unfolding going on and the call for originality. But like moving a home can very much be calling, heeding the call of how you want to live, right? Or remodeling your home, which actually we're about to do, initiated by me. And I'm Pisces with it moving through my fourth house because I want to live a certain way, or I want my home to be a certain way that reflects me and my family. So it's interesting. It's very literal, but it's also about changing your inner psychological structures so that you feel more free to be yourself. And that's shifting over the next 7 years as it moves through your house of inner psychological foundations. Okay, so that is so that so that I intended to be I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes. We're at an hour and 35, so I'm sorry. But hopefully you got a lot out of it. Please reach out to me if you want a reading, of course. And the 11 is the community that I have here on Substack, and it's also my free newsletter. So I send out a free version of the newsletter every week. But if you do the paid version, which is only $11, which I know is a little more than some Substacks, but I'm trying to make a real community where I give you like actual one-on-one attention on your natal chart if you show up. I have these Q&As that I'll do once a month. And if they get too full for whatever great reason, then I'll do 2 Q&As. But I want to give people some one-on-one attention on their own astrology, in case you can't afford a reading, or you want support sort of between readings. I usually only talk to somebody, at least in an astrology way, like once a year, twice a year at the most, if they want a different kind of reading. So in between, there's this opportunity through this community that I've started through the paywall on Substack that you can show up, and we'll look at your chart. And I think it's great. Last time, only one person showed up, so she basically got like a whole $400 reading for $11. Also, for that $11, you're getting breath work once or twice a month. I've actually scheduled 2 breath works this month because we've got so much energy building up that will need to be channeled out of your body. And this breath work is incredible. People feel amazing afterward. Just even if you just sign up, for 1 month and then cancel, just try it out. I think you will like what I'm offering here. I am an overgiver, and I don't know. I'd love to have you. Anyway, so with that, you can always find me at aubreythorne.com. And if you leave questions or something in the comments in the comment section, I will answer you. If you join as a paid subscriber, you can join the chat and we can do even more one-on-one jamming. So I really want to make this a robust community. So I hope you join us. And with that, I will wrap up this insanely long first video. Okay. All right. And if you would like this, like with the heart, it would be super helpful. I'm sure that maybe Substack will start to push my newsletters out there or something in the algorithm. Anyway, I would love to be more discoverable. This is my Aries project. And okay, I'm gonna click stop. Okay, bye everyone. Big hug.